Hey everyone, this is Resi. Today we are going to have a treat because I am playing the interviewer. I am going to interview my friend Jerry, who has been in banking for over 7 years now. And as far as I am concerned, he has had a fairly successful career in financial modeling. So, for those of you who are interested in getting into risk management and financial modeling, Jerry will have a lot of tips for you to get started in this career. So sit back and enjoy.
Recording.
I just want to do risk management career. Like how, just by question. That's the first. So before you in risk management,
Yeah.
what did you do? What type of career and did you enjoy it?
Well, I worked in like healthcare when I first started.
Okay.
I was a statistical programmer at Duke Clinical Research Institute, and before that, I worked as a field technician for an epidemiology project. We would go out into the field and collect air samples and monitor people's living conditions nearby pig operations. We know where they grow pigs and stuff like that, because they were having like waste, like literally sprayed right next to their house from a pig operation, and it was really unhealthy for those people. I mean, that was probably my favorite job I've ever had. I would go out to the field with
You collecting data there?
collecting data
Okay.
and stuff like that, and talking with people in the communities and stuff like that, figuring out, okay, what time of day does the hog odor come around and suffocate you? It would burn their eyes and stuff. These are poor people that live next to hog operations that don't have any power. So that was my most favorite job I've ever done to this day.
I see.
I haven't found another experience that matches that
You really
feeling
okay?
yet.
It sounded like you enjoy. So is it because you enjoy the collecting the data, interacting with the
It
people?
was mostly the people, interacting
Okay.
with the team we had and the people that we saw in the communities, seeing how they were really keen on us documenting what they experienced, which was
Okay.
really kind of, for me, it was really fun, and I felt like, oh, thank you.
Now, did you have to process the data every single night after you
No, that's the
collected
thing.
data?
That's the thing. I didn't have to do any data processing at all.
Oh, someone else did it
So
for
I
you?
just collected the data. In fact, I'm okay. In fact, at the time, I felt a little jaded because I wasn't allowed to touch the data. But in hindsight, you know what I figured out?
Yeah.
So after this, I went into like statistical programming at Duke, and then
Okay.
then after at Duke, I went for finance.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly, I started to realize I actually hate data.
Hey, data. Okay.
Yes, I actually don't like data. I like programming, and I like kind of like more abstract things.
Okay.
So that's the one kind of barb I've kind of hit in finance. Sometimes, like, I just don't like dealing with minutia. I like more kind of broader, abstract generalizations and
I
stuff
see.
like
You want,
that.
but is it you want to work on project that has an actual impact in the world? Is that why? Because when you did that survey project, at the end, I assumed that you deliver your analysis result to this community, right? These folks.
No, it wasn't even that
Okay.
much. Honestly, I feel like I've heard this analogy discussed in war.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in the middle of a war, you're not thinking about like ideals and like, oh, I'm fighting for freedom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you're in the middle of a war, you're just trying to survive.
Okay.
And you're fighting to protect the people next to you. So when we were doing that project, I didn't really think, oh, I'm going to help all these people. I just thought, wow, the people I work with are really cool. The stuff we're doing is neat.
Okay.
You know, like, wow, we get to hang out under this huge pig. Like, one day we went and set up this kind of instrument to collect data
Yep.
from the air under a huge pecan tree. There was like a whole field of pecan trees. They were massive. And when you go under them, it's so comfortable. We just kind of sat there for a little bit and just kind of chilled. I mean, it wasn't like this thing where I was like, oh, I'm changing the world. It was just like, I was having fun with people that I liked, and like we were doing neat things, and like kind of I guess being outside too was really nice too.
Inside, confined in an office.
Yeah, we
environment.
weren't sitting in a cubicle or half cubicle. Now I don't even know what it's called. Is it even called a cubicle anymore? It's like it's not even a cubicle anymore.
It's not okay. Yeah, I don't know. Our working space in
It's like
it's not very good.
it's cut
Just a
in half.
desk.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
did you go into finance right after Duke?
Yeah, after I worked at Duke, I
What-
went into finance.
Okay. And what was your motivation going into finance and risk management?
I kind of got jaded with so when I worked at Duke, it was more research, kind of
Okay.
medical research, where it seemed like every week you'd have like a doctor that's trying to get an abstract for some type of talk.
Mhm.
You don't know if they're really going to develop it into a paper or research. They just want an abstract. So
Okay.
we had all these data sets that we would kind of try to answer some question, and it just seemed like endless questions, but no publishing,
I
no
see.
real kind of impact for like.
So you cannot see the end of the process, or
Yeah,
what the
it wasn't-
meaning of the.
I mean, it wasn't.
okay.
It
It's
wasn't
little,
even really interesting.
Open ended. Okay.
Yeah, the questions that weren't even interesting. They're like asking questions. How many times did this drug get mentioned at this hospital? Like, who
Hmm.
cares?
Right.
So, and like, it was just a lot of that type of stuff. And like, I was gonna transition from being a statistical programmer there to a statistician
Okay.
because I had just finished my master's degree in statistics.
Okay.
But I think at that time, my wife's mother
Okay.
got laid off from her job
Okay.
and moved to my sister-in-law.
Uh huh.
So we decided, right? So there is no healthcare jobs in so
Ah, I see. It's kind of a banking town.
or
Right?
at the time, yeah. So when I came, I immediately started thinking, maybe I'll see if I can find some finance jobs. So I did find a finance job in like commercial. At the
What
time,
did you do at your first job?
My first job was called is in something called enterprise credit risk management. So
Okay.
I was basically building PB models.
Okay. Probability default. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
So did you feel like you were still working in the research, like environmental and medical research, helped you with to get into this new role in banking risk management?
Yeah, I think when I first got into risk management, I was fresh out of school almost, and I had
Okay.
worked only in academic environments.
Okay.
So when I first got into it, it was like I had not really came across anybody with like a big ego
Okay.
or really like very particular at all. Most of the people I came across were very kind of like down to earth and accepting and
Uh-huh.
like willing to kind of work with you and stuff like that. So
Uh-huh.
most of the people that I had came across at UNC and Duke were pretty cool people. Even the principal investigator
Yep.
on the project I work on, he's a big deal. His name is Steve Wing. He passed away,
Uh-huh.
but he was a really important figure in terms of environmental justice and stuff like that. But he
Yeah.
was very chilled, laid back.
And you find that different
Yeah,
in
but
the banking environment.
when I went into finance,
Yep.
I don't know if it's because I was a rookie, I was new and young
Yeah.
or whatever, but the first year was like I felt like there was a hostility to questioning things almost. Like if you question something, it's almost like the manager at the time. I won't mention his name, but the manager seemed to be very hostile towards questions,
Okay.
and and some of it was my fault too, because I think I was a little bit scatterbrained. So I'm interested in so many different things. Sometimes I would kind of lose focus and stuff like that. But
So you find the intellectual curiosity set is kind of lacking it's kind of like when you first jump into the finance world. That's what you see comparing
yeah,
with the other research world. But I guess
so.
I guess pay the bill. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah. So then next you went on to your current. Oh wait, you went to the consulting.
Nope. So I
Your current
skipped
employer.
around quite a bit. So I
Okay.
actually went to first.
Yep.
I got really annoyed with the manager.
Okay.
after about a year. So my wife was still in graduate school at the time. So I was like, I'm going to go back to the Triangle.
How special chocolate tail?
Yep, we'll share. Yep.
Sharing for that. Let me grab you some plates.
Good. Thank you.
Thank this as well.
Yep.
So 1 second.
Yep.
So yeah, I was like, I'm going back to the Triangle. Don't like. So I went to a mortgage insurance company.
Do you want this agro?
No.
It's veggie. Okay, you sure? All right.
Yeah. So I went there.
Okay, research.
Yep. And was that the experience a little different in your first job? Yeah, in finance world, was that experience a little different or largely similar?
So at the mortgage insurance place, there was a place called Genworth.
Yeah.
It was more. I don't know if it was because it wasn't banking, or whatever, but it was also more kind of like more chilled.
Okay, you feel like it's a little more relaxed and you're able to ask questions, right?
Yeah.
To kind of you satisfy some of your intellectual curiosity. Okay.
Yeah, but there it was a little bit too relaxed. So I had kind of picked up some of the habits from my manager.
Yep.
Became more focused on efficiency,
Yep.
more concerned about like fonts
Yeah.
and formats and stuff like that. And slowly, like I realized, like the team I was on at that mortgage insurance company, I wasn't going to grow with them because like there was people on the team. Not to no disrespect to them, they had been on the team for probably 10 years, and they had not yet learned some of the basic functionality with SaaS.
In the next one, right? The general in Triangle. Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like I needed to go somewhere where I was going to be challenged again. So I went back to the same group of
Yep.
manager, same manager that I had that originally kind of I felt like kind of harassed me and like really kind of like was picky and stuff like that.
Is the experience second time a little different?
Second time around,
Yeah.
I think
Well, a little better or
second time around is much better because I think the manager can see that I'm not against him,
okay.
that I actually do like to do good work.
Yep.
So I think he starts to see that we're on the same page, so he doesn't have to be that pushy with me.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the second time around is great. I feel like I grow a lot in terms of my writing skills, my kind of analytic skills. I grow a ton, especially with that manager, who I came to appreciate
Okay.
for being kind of like a tough love type of person. So it seems like he was a jerk, but over time I could see the wisdom and some of the things he did.
So you beefed up your writing skills over there too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, writing is actually fairly
Yeah.
important skill in what we do, right?
I
Risk
think
management.
it's probably.
Yeah.
I think if you have good writing skills, I mean that's kind of half the battle for risk management.
Yeah, because at least 1/3 of the time you spend on writing, right?
Oh.
Of your project. Okay. So the next one you went on to consulting, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, next thing I did was so remember I told you I was a bit of a scatterbrain.
Yeah.
Next thing I did is I went back to healthcare.
Oh, okay.
I went to work as a biostatistician at Carolina's healthcare system,
Okay.
now Atrium Health.
Okay.
That was pretty interesting because at the time, the Affordable Care Act was getting becoming implemented.
Getting passed? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of data, right?
There's a lot of data. So they were trying
Okay.
to analyze different configurations for delivering healthcare.
Yeah.
And I thought that was super duper interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just jumped ship from finance. Was like, forget this. Healthcare is really interesting.
It's the next thing. Yeah. Okay.
So I got involved with healthcare analytics. So I did a lot of interesting automation and stuff there. And like we had this process called Prometheus that would bundle up healthcare deliveries and see how efficient they were and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of programming there and stuff like that. But what eventually
Led to your departure. Yeah.
eventually, I don't know, maybe I'm being petty, but eventually you walk into the parking lot,
Yeah.
you see nothing but, for some people, you see like nothing but Mercedeses
Yeah.
and like BMWs, right? For
Uh-huh.
some people.
Mhm.
Then the other people, are just, regular. So I started asking myself, like, I feel like I'm doing a whole bunch of work. I'm producing a lot of work here.
Yeah.
I'm not getting promoted.
Not
I'm
getting rewarded.
I took a pay cut from
Yeah.
finance because I was very passionate about understanding healthcare and trying to see if I could do something to make healthcare better, because I was
Yeah.
just really curious and really passionate about it. Took a big pay cut, and eventually I started feeling a little bit like, you know what, forget this. I'm going back to finance. Money talks, and it's true, because this.
So you like the
This may sound bad, but there's a proverb in the Bible that says, "Wine maketh merry." Like a feast makes happy or something like that. But money answers everything.
okay. You got a family to feed, right? Your kids gotta do activity and then
So
gotta want to have nice stuff. Okay, so then you move on to your current employer, right?
Yes,
So
I did.
okay, so and you were doing modeling, right?
went to
Commercial modeling group.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So okay, but then what do you think about that job for the time when you were there, the first time?
So first time I was there, it's kind of the same.
Okay.
I mean, the people, like, to me, what I figured out is where you go, it's really boils down to the people.
Okay.
And like, one of the main reasons why I went back is because, like, when I left for KPM, there was really no sense of community.
So it's a consulting environment. That's what, okay.
It's because I was, everybody else was in New York. My wife and didn't want to move to New York or LA, where the bigger consulting hubs are. So I was basically alone here.
But did you feel like you were excluded because of certain project you can't get involved because geographic location, or is it just because the difficulty in connecting with the people on the team and they just kind of
it's just
ignore
location.
you? Okay.
I didn't want to travel like 75% of the time, and
Okay.
I was in a city. Most of the consulting work was in New York and LA, right? So, or San Francisco, and I didn't want to live in those cities, so I kind of got shunned out. So eventually, I was like, you know what, no community here. But when I came back, one of the main reasons why I went back to P because of, I don't know if you know Sanjay. He had described, like, what
project that you
really
made.
makes a place,
Yeah.
to work. What really makes a workplace.
Mhm.
And I kind of thought about it. He was right. Really, the people is what makes a workplace. And all the people that, I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. I think all the people that I work with being really great people, except maybe one or two.
Okay.
But I know, not even one or two. I think they're all really cool
So
people.
I see. Okay.
So
So what advice you give to people who just getting out of school, interested in risk management career? What things that you advise you give them so that they know what they're coming in for, and they are prepared mentally and also skill wise, and what
let's
do you
say,
recommend to beef up on before they join this career?
number one, writing.
Writing. Okay.
Get a book called Elements of Style by Strunk.
Okay.
Get a book called Slideology. I don't know the author, but those are two things you have to do: present and write.
Huh?
Slideology teaches you how to make very good slides that don't have like paragraphs on them. And I would also say a book called Show Me the Numbers.
Okay.
Learning how to present yourself, data, stuff like that, is a really important skill. Another skill I would say is learning how to automate the stupid stuff. Like
What do you mean automate?
automate the stuff that you don't really need to think about. Like if you have to make like 500 graphs,
Okay.
automate that. Find ways to kind of automate things so you can use your time thinking about more important things.
Okay.
And like, you may have somebody to help you automate. If you do, get them to do it. But sometimes it's good to have some way to kind of get those minutiae out of the way.
Okay.
The other thing I would say is, do not underestimate the importance of accounting and economics.
Ah. Okay.
Those are very critical things to kind of
Accounting economics, is it because like cash flow assumption that you're talking about? Cash flow
Well,
calculations?
just accounting in
market?
general. Like the language of finance in general is accounting.
Yeah.
When you hear people talk about accrual,
Oh, I
when
see.
people talk about like net profit or
Yeah.
P&L, all these things is all accounting. So I'm not saying to be an accountant, but accounting is boring for most people, but it is very important to respect. And economics too, understanding some basic economics, which I didn't understand when I first came in. I think having a little bit of time in finance, I can respect certain economic principles like, opportunity cost, stuff like,
Gotcha.
interest rates and stuff like that. Those are things that get flung around all the time in finance that are really good to know. So, I mean, the best thing is to just have some kind of, have like some background in these things, so when you're in conversations and in meetings, you're not just dozing off, because like, if you don't have a good kind of vocabulary, a lot of stuff will get lost on you and it won't seem important, because you're just like, who cares about spread? Why do they keep talking about spread? What's spread? Well, you
I
need
see.
to know
Okay, it's because you're a developer and
Yeah.
talking about line of business, and and they're trying to build a model that satisfy their needs and answer their questions, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of okay. Okay, well, I think this is good. It's good interview time. Yes, let's pause here and then let's eat lunch. Yeah, thank you, Jerry.